They are our children. I don't think that priority is given to the fact that they die by gun violence.
Welcome to Face Chicago. We're concluding our ministry tour of Chicago with Dr. John Feuder. In a city like Chicago, what should our mission be?
Well, I think the mission ultimately of a church, a parachurch ministry, is for the gospel to be both seen and heard. And as a Christian, it hurts your heart to understand that our city is known for being the city of Al Capone, but in many ways it's the city of D.L. Moody, it's the city of Billy Sunday, it's the city of Billy Graham back in the day. So it just depends on perspective.
So where are we headed next?
Hey, we're just pulling now into the Chinatown community, which is well over 100 years old, and a ministry by the Chinese Christian Union Church, which also is over 100 years old in this community, called the Poituk Center. And the director, David Wu, and his family have been intricately involved in this ministry for a long, long time. And he'll tell us about the way that the church is meeting social needs in the community.
When we speak of the Asian community, how many Asian cultures are we talking about?
There's quite a few Asian cultures in Chicago. Right now we're in Chinatown, which is just south of downtown. But the Koreans, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, Cambodians, the Asian Indians have all settled up on the north side of the city. So every community is different. We're in Chinatown, and Chinese started coming to Chicago as early as the 1880s. So we have a really long history, but Chinatown really consists of a lot of new immigrants.
What brings them to this area?
You know, a lot of times people will come to their ethnic enclave because they lack English and they just feel more comfortable being around people from a similar background. But what brings them to the United States is a hope for a better life, either for themselves, but definitely for their children.
I was going to ask you too, David, the Poituk Center I know is a ministry of the Chinese Christian Union Church. Could you talk a little bit about that partnership? Because isn't the Poituk somewhat of the social service arm?
Yeah, so we're the community service arm of the church. The church has taught English, worked with kids, tried to meet a human need that someone had to build a friendship. Because today, even the Chinese that are coming probably didn't know Christians, probably never attended the church, never saw a Bible. And so you can't just give them a Bible or invite them to a service. You have to demonstrate God's love.
So by providing this service, people actually learn more about what you do and about the church, and then they're more accepting.
Yes.
About how many people are served in this Chinatown location?
The south side Chinatown has about 27,000 people, so it's actually growing every decade, and so people are still arriving from China. Our community center serves about 3,000 people a year. On a given Sunday, the Chinese Christian Union Church probably has 1,000, so there's still a lot of work to do.
Maybe mention the school too. Is it the Poituk Christian School that you guys have begun as well to reach children, right?
Probably about 60 years ago, they started a preschool, and most kids were going to kindergarten without knowing a word of English. And so the church saw that need and responded to it by starting a preschool and a daycare. And over the years, it's expanded, and the school recently launched to become a kind of an independent Christian school, still affiliated with the church, but trying to meet the educational needs of children here and to make an impact on families through education.
You've talked about language. What are some of the other barriers or other things that you deal with in this community to reach people?
You know, I mean, immigrants give up a lot. I was just talking to someone who came from Guangzhou, the southern part of China, and as before they immigrated, they had their own business, but wanted to come to provide for their family or to have a better opportunities for their kids. And when they came, they actually had to start at the very bottom. They didn't know English. Whatever job skill they had in running a business wasn't very useful, and so they had to work in a restaurant. So there's a lot of different needs that you could try to meet to serve your community.
Can I ask you too, David? the church has services in different languages too, doesn't it? Just so our viewers understand that.
Yeah, so
to
just
respond
like
to
a
the-
lot of immigrant churches,
Yeah.
it started with the language that people spoke as they immigrated. And so for Chinatown, it was actually Cantonese, which is one of the dialects of Chinese. The immigrant churches have to worship in their native language, but quickly they have to figure out how to reach the next generation, the kids that are growing up. If they make them speak Chinese here
Right.
or Korean, some of them will turn away from the church, and so a lot of immigrant churches have to develop English language ministries
For the young people.
for the young people. And then, so our church has Cantonese, English, and then Mandarin as well, which is the official dialect of Chinese spoken in China.
Well, thanks for letting us be here on your
Thank you,
rooftop
David.
and be here in Chinatown.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks. So, Doc, we're standing and gazing at this beautiful Chicago skyline,
Yeah.
and there's the Willis Tower,
Yeah,
and
formerly the Sears
the
Tower.
Sears Tower,
Yeah,
which is what
yeah.
I wanted to call it. It's the
Yeah,
Willis Tower,
I
and
know.
some beautiful locations, and
Yeah.
it just reminds me of all the ministry that's going on
Yeah.
throughout this city.
It's true. And so much of what our viewers are seeing are prime examples of choice men and women of God
Yes.
that have devoted years of their life, decades of their life to pouring into various neighborhoods on the west and south and north side of our city. And I think we would like our viewers to understand the opportunity that is there for them to be more aware, to go to the website, to check it out, for those that have proximity, to maybe come show up and volunteer, but even to give financially, because
so many of them, all of them,
Yeah.
have a financial
They
need.
do.
And if the Lord
do.
has placed on your
Yeah.
heart a desire to help any one of these ministries, as you said, either
Yeah.
by volunteer or
Yeah.
with a gift, pray about how
Yeah.
you can get involved in help of all these locations. And you too, Doc.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
organization.
Heart for the City is as well. And I can speak that the fun for me of filming these clips are our friends, comrades,
Yeah.
colleagues of more than 2 decades of collaborating together in Chicago. The integrity of these men and women, their commitment to the neighborhood, and yet many do it at great sacrifice, at great cost. And so anything that God would prompt you to do would be a huge, huge gift to these
Yes.
men and women.